Okay, so the time has come to try to inspect and replace the transmission drive belt on this. I figured while the deck is off, I might as well inspect it, replace the belt, and replace the pulleys that are under there if I have to. So what I'm thinking is I might just tip this thing on its side, just lay it on its side so I can get easy access to it and I can see what I'm doing that way, and it'll just be easier than trying to crawl underneath the thing and jack the thing up on off the ground and everything like that. And I think I'll be okay with the engine if I tip it this direction. The cylinder head is right here. Case, bottom of the case is right there. So I think any oil that's in the engine, well, of course it's still full of oil, it'll just run to the bottom, and I don't think it'll hurt anything. The valves are all up here, so I think that should be all right. The fuel tanks have been removed, so there's no fuel that's going to spill. And there's just two fluids on this, fuel and oil, so it should be all right. So I'm going to give it a shot. I think when it lays over, oh, you know what? It might lay on that right there. That could damage that. Maybe I'll get a jack stand out and see if I can't lay the jack stand on the steering wheel, or maybe the column here. See if I can't do that. All right, I'll get that set up and then I'll get going. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. It's resting on the jack stand there. I think it's okay. It does get pretty heavy as you go over center, but I don't see any issues with this. Now that I'm under the tractor here, let's take a look at the drive belt. It's, might be original. It's got a lot of cracks in it. I don't see any spots where it looks like it got hot or anything like that. Here's the tensioner, and it's got an idler on there, and then there's another idler in the back. Where is that thing? Ah, yeah, right here's the other idler. That's gonna be trick to get to that. That might be a challenge. What is this thing? The heck? Huh. That's an intake valve for I don't know, big block Ford, I'm guessing. I don't know. The guy I got this from, I think, was a Ford guy. So, oh, you know what it is? It's a drop-in. Ha! Nice. We'll have to get this loose, get this guard off of here, and then to loosen the tensioner, just push on the pedal. Ooh, not roll it off the jack stand. I'll have to find a way to get that released. I might be able to just use a C-clamp, pull the pedal down and hold it down with a C-clamp. That'll take tension off the tensioner. Or maybe just take the darn spring off. But I could do that too. Actually, that might be easier. Maybe I'll try that first. So to get springs like this off, sometimes I take a little driver, little nut driver. I can get it on the spring like that and push. Well, I'm gonna need two hands for that. Okay, confession time. I did manage to accidentally knock the mower off the jack stand, and it landed on that lever. I don't think it hurt it, But then I got smart and I put a jack stand underneath the engine block. So now there's a bit of load on that, quite a bit of load on that, and a little bit of load on the steering wheel as well. And it feels a lot better. It won't slide around. So yeah, if you're doing this at home, use 2 jack stands. All right, gonna go ahead and try to get this pulley off of there now that there's no tension. Huh, okay. There's a nut for the guard, and then there's a nut for the pulley. There we go. Oh, that doesn't sound very good. I bought a new one. Glad I did. Okay, now that I got the tensioner off, I can see the belt a little bit better. So here's the drive right off the engine. Here's the crankshaft. This is for the transmission, and this is for the mower deck. So the drive comes right off of this, goes through this idler way back there. I don't know if the camera can see it. Comes up and around the tensioner, and I guess around the transmission drive. It's in neutral right now, so that spins freely. And then back to the engine. So, and I think what it looks like in order to get this belt off, I've got to sneak it over the, I got to sneak it over this pulley somehow. I got to sneak it over that pulley. But what I got to do, I think, is get this idler off here, get that bolt off, and then I think the belt should be mostly free after that. Well, this is a problem. The stud's so long, the pulley won't come off the stud. It comes in contact with this belt guide, which can come off pretty easily, but it also comes in contact with the transmission case, which does not come off very easily. So I got to figure that out. So with the idler loose, I was able to get the belt pulled out from around it. Now I think I can just sneak this guy out. Okay, so it's free from the idler. Now let's see if I can get it off the transmission pulley. Should be able to just get it up and around the pulley here. It's hung up on something. Probably the top of the... Yep. I think with a little twisting and finagling, that'll probably come out. Well, now I'm starting to wonder if I should have just dropped the transmission right out of here, because that would make everything a lot easier. So let's see. It's a couple nuts there, a couple nuts down there. I see there's grease zerks on there too, so I can grease it when I'm done. And connections, I got one connection up here for the brake. So this is the brake right here. But I think that's long enough, that rod's long enough, it should be able to move a little bit. Same with the shift mechanism. So the shifter mechanism's right here, this rock shaft. So here's the linkage to actually shift the transmission, and up here is the linkage that runs from the shifter. So this could come out pretty darn easily. Actually, one nut there, that comes right out, and then anything else I think is flexible enough that I can just drop this transmission. You know what, I'm gonna switch gears here, no pun intended, and I think I'll just loosen the trans and go from there. Okay, fast forward a few minutes here. Went ahead and got this little tractor up on jack stands, way up high. I have a pretty good sized floor jack, so it's easy to do. So it looks pretty safe. And you know what? There's quite a bit of clearance underneath here. I didn't really want to work underneath. Now that I see how high I was able to get it, I'm not that scared of it. So I think in order to drop the trans, and I don't need to take it all the way out, I just need to lower it a little bit. I still got to get these wheels off because the bolts that hold the trans in are not carriage bolts like you find in a lot of this. They're through bolts with nuts on the ends. So I got to be able to get to the heads of each of these bolts. And I'm going to have an easier time doing that with the wheels off. They should, quote unquote, come right off. It's just a snap ring and then they slide off. All right, I'll get the other side off and then I'll start taking some of these fasteners out. All right, up under here, I think in order to drop it, I'm gonna take this off. I'll take this off. This is I'll take this off here, the shift linkage. The brake, where's the brake? The brake here, I think that can stay on. It's a long rod and it's not gonna hit anything as the transmission comes down. Like I said, I don't have to take the thing all the way out. I just need to lower it enough to get the belt off and get that pulley off of there. I think if it comes down a couple inches, it'll be fine. Once all that's loosened up, I'll take out these bolts here that hold it in. And I'll put my jack under here and I'll just slowly lower it down. That's the plan. Okay, almost there. I did miss one connection. There's a bracket that goes up, attaches to the bottom of the platform. It connects right here, so I can either take this out or take that out up there. I think I'll take this guy out, and then it should drop down. I got it resting on the jack. Okay, now that the transmission is lower, let's see if we can get this idler out. Yeah, there we go. Let's check it out here. Well, once you know it, it actually doesn't feel too bad. It's about like the other one, but I'll replace it. I mean, I went through the trouble, right? Okay, so here's the old belt that came right out. As soon as I lowered the transmission just a little bit, it came right out. It doesn't look very good. It's pretty old. Time for it to go. Here's the new belt. What is this thing? This is an M94020. So this was the John Deere replacement for this old belt. I kind of wonder if it's been replaced once. So the one I pulled off is quite a bit thinner. It might have had the wrong belt on it. I don't know. It could be just a a running change they made at some point too. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this guy in. Yeah, I guess they're the same length. Looks right. All right, I'm going to go ahead and slide this guy in here. I was kind of studying it, and what I noticed was the back of the belt ran against the drive pulley for the transmission. Out of the package, if I tried to slide the belt up here as is, the wrong end of the belt's going to run against the pulley. So I got to twist this thing, kind of inside out, so to speak. And it's real stiff. So it's kind of a challenge, but there it goes. Okay, that should do it. Okay. Now I got to get the back side of the belt around that idler. Well, first I got to install the idler, then I got to get the belt wrapped around it. Okay, here's where I'm at. I've got the belt installed, and I got the whole thing wrapped around the drive pulley on the trans, and then the whole thing is pulled forward. Try to get a shot up there. And the V portion of the belt has to go around the drive pulley of the engine. So I'll try to get that on there. And then the whole belt has to come back here like this, so it can wrap around the idler, which gets installed right here. So it's a little bit of a challenge, and it's very dirty up there. Hopefully that doesn't hurt the belt at all. I don't think so. It'll probably just clean itself off after it runs for a while. But that's what I got to do. It's pretty tough to get a good angle on this, so I'm going to do the best I can. Well, I think that looks pretty good. I got a spacer and a guide that have to go up in there. I can pinch that spacer between the wiring harness and the shift linkage. And then this flat portion of the spacer, sorry, it's upside down. The flat portion of this, well, it's a belt guard. The flat portion of this belt guard faces the engine. Then I got to try to get this new pulley on. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, let's get a good look at it here. So the idler's on, so this doesn't move, it just rotates, so there's no tensioner or anything like that. The belt comes all the way, almost all the way around this idler and holds tight against, helps hold that belt tight against the drive pulley, the engine pulley. And then up front, I'll try to get a shot of that, will be the tensioner. That was the first thing to come off, so it'll be the last thing to go on when the assembly goes back together. So I think I can get this transmission tucked back up against the chassis, and I think I can move forward from there. Okay, it's time to get the tensioner on. So here's the new belt. Oh, it feels tight. I hope that thing slips enough. But I gotta get the belt around the idler pulley and then just slide it all up onto the bolt here, and it should be good. So let's give it a shot. Now to get that spring over here. That's going to be tough. But I think the belt's on right. I think it looks pretty good. Might run the vacuum, get some of this cleaned up. I kind of wish I had done this outside and then rolled it on its side like I had initially, and then power washed the whole thing before I got started, because it's been kind of dirty. And you know what? I'm betting for the age, this thing probably isn't that dirty. I'm sure there's much filthier mowers out there. All right, I'm going to try to get this spring back on there. Just use a nut driver with a wide end so it doesn't slip off the spring too easily. And push like crazy, I guess. There we go. A little sketchy, but it gets it done. It looks pretty good. When you push on the pedal, it takes tension off the drive belt. That, I guess it doesn't take much. That should slip. That should be engaged. All right, I'm gonna check all my bolts, including the pulley in the back, make sure everything's tight, and then I think I'm done.